Story 1. If you are fortunate enough to be working out regularly, continue your routine, but understand that your body will not perform as well as it did in your 20s. Be cautious and avoid injury, as it can lead to more complications. Story 2. Obvious answers. Sun exposure, dental care, sleep, and fitness. Less obvious answers. Work reputation, professional value of networking, investing early and heavily, focus consideration on what is important to you in life, and steering towards those priorities in relationships and work-family balance. Story 3. If you are not going to the gym yet or engaging in vigorous exercise at least 3 times a week, start now. Your bones and muscles will deteriorate. Establish a good habit now, and you will thank yourself in 20 years. Also, please do not neglect your teeth. Periodontitis is serious. Story 4. There is no longer an uninterrupted night's sleep. At some point, you will have to get up and use the restroom. Story 5. Exercise your body. It doesn't need to be extreme. Just move your body. Eat well. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just make good choices for yourself. Maintain your dental health. Brush, floss, and visit the dentist regularly. Engage in activities you enjoy. A hobby is great for your mental health. Story 6. Being chronically angry or sad starts to affect you on a cellular level over time. This can influence your appearance, posture, and even your scent. Most importantly, it impacts your physical and mental health. Story 7. Watching your parents age is a tough experience. The roles will reverse and you will end up looking after them. Enjoy every moment you have together. Even if you disagree on things or the relationship is strained, try to find common ground and talk things through. Remember that they are living life for the first time as well and may not always get it right. Once they are gone, and you will not have the chance to make amends, so tell them what they mean to you now. Story 8. You are all passionate individuals. Invest. Go to the gym. Save your money. What I regret is constantly worrying about finances. Go out and have fun. Stay active. Don't sit down all the time. And remember to take care of your teeth. Otherwise, do yourself a favor and create stories to share. Life is too short to delay your happiness until the very end. You can't always know if you're investing in the right things, and your retirement can be affected by numerous factors at any moment. You will figure it out and persevere. You will never have the chance to be young, free, and full of life again. Don't put it off. Story 9. Personal growth and therapy are essential for understanding yourself more deeply, communicating effectively, building confidence, and fostering better relationships, all of which greatly enhance the quality of your life. Story 10. All of their health habits or lack thereof. It is easy to feel like you have all the time in the world and that things won't catch up to you when you are still young. Story 11. Health. Just because you are not in pain does not mean everything is fine. Get checkups regularly. Story 12. All the time you spend online chatting with strangers is not beneficial. Can affect your mindset, attitude, and future. Consider disconnecting from it immediately. Story 13. Networking and social skills are essential. If you are introverted and struggle with these skills, you should invest significant effort into improving them. Do not fall for the notion that being exceptionally skilled alone will guarantee success. People with fewer skills may secure the positions you aspire to due to their connections. Building social relationships and networking is crucial for achieving your goals. Story 14. Retirement savings. Putting even a small amount of money into a 401k or another type of investment account can lead to significant growth with proper investing. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to secure a good job with a 401k or start investing until I was around 28 years old. However, even investing the minimum amount matched by my employer has allowed me to build a nice nest egg. Story 15. Investments are important not just financially, but also in relationships and health. Invest in your health, relationships, and income, or you may not have them when you are older. Story 16. Your shoes. Do not buy the inexpensive, cute shoes just to wear a couple of times to a party or with a costume. It's not worth the long-term damage those shoes will do to your feet. Buy good, supportive shoes, use inserts, and avoid pointy-toed high heels when working long hours. Sincerely, someone with foot arthritis. Story 17. Not working out. I deeply urge you all to go to the gym. Your mind right now might not want to, but your body will thank you if you go regularly over the years. Story 18. Loud noise. Seriously, get a pair of custom-made earplugs if you're in loud environments and have them checked every year. After attending concerts without ear protection for years, I try to limit my hearing damage, but the reality is that I will never experience silence again. Story 19. Sitting and poor posture can lead to significant issues. If you work at a computer all day, incorporate some pulling exercises. The muscles that pull your body forward may stay strong, while those that keep you upright and aligned will weaken if neglected. This can lead to pain in later years, and your chiropractor's children will thank you for covering their education after you've spent decades ignoring the issue. Additionally, it is wise to invest your money. Take advantage of the company match in your 401k if available. Maximize contributions to your individual retirement account, IRA, and consider investing in an exchange-traded fund, ETF, through a brokerage account. While it may seem like a large expense, you are likely to spend that money on unnecessary items anyway. By prioritizing investing, you can be well prepared for retirement by your 40s without missing out on meaningful experiences during your 20s. Story 20. A nagging injury in your 20s could be crippling in your 40s if left untreated. Also, remember to wear sunscreen, as the sun ages your skin. Story 21. If you prioritize work above all else and ignore relationships and friendships, you will find that as you reach your 30s, the pool of suitable partners or potential friends becomes smaller. Story 22. Do not waste your money on designer items. That $4,000 bag is a trip to Europe. Sure, if you make enough money to do both. If you absolutely must have something brand name, buy one item and treat it well. Make it a classic. However, there are 1,000 better ways to spend that money. Story 23. Exercise. Just do the simplest exercise for 30 minutes routinely every day. Your body will thank you in the long run. Story 24. I twisted my knee badly while snowboarding when I was 28 and felt the pain for about a month. I was completely fine afterward for about 12 years until that knee started hurting when I climbed stairs at 41. Story 25. Physical discomfort in later life often comes from significant mistakes made in younger years. As I speak with others in their 70s, I frequently hear about those who are suffering and often hindered by injuries from high school football, skiing, tennis, or other activities that strain the body. It is truly wonderful to be healthy in old age because there is so much to enjoy if you can walk a few miles, or even just 100 feet. While those activities may be enjoyable, they are not worth the potential consequences. As a lifelong skier, I find it hard to believe that I do not have crippling joint pain, just fortunate, I suppose. Story 26. Everyone is talking about working out, but it doesn't have to mean hitting the gym. Just being active in life, walking more, doing stretches, and staying mobile. Your body doesn't bounce back like it used to. Also, seriously consider getting your booster shots. Story 27. Wasting time. Anything you do today to earn money, make a connection, or learn something will pay off for the rest of your life. You will never get back the time you spend scrolling through negative content or engaging in unproductive activities. Story 28. Old injuries. You cannot abuse your body recklessly in your youth without it progressively taking a toll on you over time. Arthritis can be very challenging. Story 29. Like it or not, you are influenced by your community, friends, work, spouse, and family. So choose wisely and make adjustments accordingly. Story 30. You really become comfortable in your skin, with who you are and where you are in life. You may also learn to not be too hard on yourself for what you thought were shortcomings, but are actually just a testament to being different and better at other things, and that's okay. Story 31. Wait. You all have those young metabolisms. I've read that it slows down twice between the ages of 20 and 40. Not much, around 200 calories, but assuming no change in exercise or diet, that's 20 pounds a year. You wouldn't believe how hard I work at 40 to only look as out of shape as I do. I was one of those guys with impressive vascularity and a six-pack at 20. It'll get you. It's so much effort to get back into shape, and simply being heavy is unhealthy, regardless of what health at every size advocates say. Hearing, stop listening to loud music. Many of my friends now have tinnitus. Vision, stop staring at screens all day. If you work on a computer for long hours, do some eye exercises. It's beneficial to spend a few minutes focusing away from your screen. Concentrate on something just behind it and then look at the other side of the room. Education, you're not going to get that influencer job and make $2 million a year to retire at 25. Several people I knew returned to college to earn degrees at 30. Attend an affordable college, enjoy a few years, earn a basic degree, and you'll be better off for it. Story 32. What is with all the comments about saving every penny? In your 20s? No. If you can save, that is great, but also live your life. Don't worry today about tomorrow's problems. I started saving at 32 and reached nearly $100,000 by 38. I lived in my 20s. Health, fitness, learning, and experiences should be the focus during that time. Financial literacy is, of course, important, but the constant pressure to save everything right now is anxiety-inducing. Story 33. Investing for retirement. If you start in your 20s, you will have a significant advantage over individuals like me who started in their 40s. Story 34. You get tired really fast. I remember I would work all day and night without skipping a beat. Then, in my late 30s, I came home and felt totally exhausted. I ended up taking a nap, something I had never done before. Nowadays, it feels impossible to function without a nap, which is ridiculous. Having children had a significant impact on that as well. I'm pretty sure if I had never had kids, I would feel about 10 years younger. Story 35. Sleep injuries are real. The shame associated with them is equally real. Do not choose to be poor if you can avoid it. Engage in activities you excel at to earn money. You want to afford the things you love to do. Even your passions can sometimes feel like just another job. Your metabolism will change. Establish good habits now. You will find yourself becoming the older person at work sooner than you think. You may not be as cool as you imagine, and it typically worsens with time. Interestingly, the coolest people I know are often the kindest. Arch support is essential. Your body will appreciate it later. Lactose intolerance can unexpectedly become an issue. There is little you can do except hope it doesn't affect you. Start saving for retirement as soon as possible. The saying, "It's not what you know, it's who you know," is misleading. It is about what you know and who appreciates you. Make a greater effort to connect with more people. Story 36. I am in my late 20s, and one aspect I have not seen listed yet is online presence. It can significantly impact how you are viewed later in life. Story 37. The accumulated effects of stress become more difficult to manage over time, eventually making it hard to sleep. Story 38. Politics is all around us. I heard someone say, "Oh, I'm not into politics." But your boss is, your landlord is, and the owner of the social media platform you are using every day is. Story 39. Decades of wins and losses, loves and heartbreaks, scars, and friends passing away have led to a deeper understanding of reality. This can result in bitterness or a path to enlightenment, or a combination of both. Story 40. For a different perspective on health, if there is a grant service available for individuals under 30 for something like a business startup, go for it if you have an idea. My friend and I came up with an idea and, being ordinary people, decided to wait to do more research before applying for grants. We're making progress now, but we discovered that our idea would have received 100% secured funding from an organization if we had just gone for it and applied before turning 30. Story 41. Losing touch with friends can be challenging. It's much easier to make friends in high school and college, but once you lose contact, it can be difficult to reconnect. Work friends often revolve around job-related discussions, and adding children to the equation makes maintaining friendships even harder. Make it a habit to reach out through emails, calls, or outings to stay engaged in each other's lives. Story 42. Protect your hearing. You do not want tinnitus. The music in clubs was excessively loud 20 years ago and likely still is. Story 43. Vote in every election for which you are eligible. Every school board, parent-teacher association, city, county, state, and federal election affects your life. Take it seriously. Story 44. Probably saving money in a company retirement plan. When I was 20, I wanted every penny in my take-home pay. I was frustrated about having to pay taxes. Now I deposit half a month's salary into my retirement accounts automatically. Story 45. If you get injured, let it heal properly. Don't assume it will be all right. I'm in my mid-40s and often say this body wasn't meant to age this much. I wish I had listened to my father when he kept telling me to allow my injuries to heal. Story 46. Do not try to keep up with others. Do not find every reason to dislike people who think differently, especially those in your family. A relationship with the right person is more satisfying than a million relationships with the wrong person. I can express these ideas, but they may not matter. A person in their 20s who does not hold these values close will learn these lessons the hard way. Story 47. Not stretching can lead to injuries. I don't care how minimal the impact of that one jump may seem. For me, it was like playing a game of basketball. I jumped for a layup and tore my patellar tendon. I haven't walked the same since. Story 48. Brush your teeth or at least rinse your mouth after you drink coffee. You won't like how your teeth look later in life if you don't. Story 49. Have a goal, any goal. You may not find your ultimate goal. It may sound silly or superficial, but it doesn't matter. You can modify it or completely abandon it later. However, don't spend any time without a goal. If you cannot find anything else, make it a financial or spiritual goal. It doesn't matter. Having a goal that you commit to will motivate you and set you in motion. It will transform you from a static point into a dynamic path. Find a good enough goal or adopt one from someone else. It doesn't matter. Have a goal. Story 50. Take care of your knees. Avoid putting weight on them. You may experience creaking, popping, and significant pain. Story 51. Protect your knees with knee pads if you are working in a job that requires you to be on your knees. Story 52. Breaking your own ethical rules will eventually lead to disappointment. It is important to feel regret, but also to forgive yourself, because failing to do so can change you forever. Story 53. Learn to socialize. Seriously, I'm not suggesting you need to be a social butterfly, but improving your social skills will open up more opportunities and situations, both personally and professionally. Story 54. Poor posture is something I wish I had taken more seriously. Neck and back pain become much worse with age. Story 55. In your 20s, set up an E-Trade account and buy shares regularly. Your mom gives you $100. Invest in solid company shares for $98.16 or whatever the price may be. Buy one share and continue saving and investing. Never touch those investments until you are older. Additionally, save for a house but keep a separate ledger for that purpose. I'm telling you, you will be able to retire young and travel the world. If you invest $500 today and never touch it, it could grow to about $35,000 by the time you are 68 years old. Continue this with every extra nickel, and it truly adds up. Story 56. Everything in this song. Story 57. Loss of time. You feel like all the time in the world is at your fingertips. Sneeze and you're 50 wishing you had done more. Story 58. Take care of your body. It won't last forever. Eat healthy and make necessary changes to improve your well-being. Story 59. Metabolism. Don't underestimate what your body can do without your control. Since my 20s to my 30s, I consistently weighed 160 pounds, then between 175 and 185. After turning 40, my weight increased to 215 to 230 pounds. The COVID-19 pandemic did not help. Story 60. The amount of mobility you have at age 20 will begin to decrease rapidly every decade unless you work hard to preserve it. Story 61. Booze. That 60-year-old seemingly happy couple struggling with alcoholism that your parents know will probably not be your experience if you try to keep it up. Story 62. Not taking care of your body and staying in shape is important. If you have a minor issue with an ear or a toe, address it immediately. It will only get worse. Story 63. Everything Lee Perry says in that Baz Luhrmann sunscreen song is important, especially being kind to your knees, your siblings, and wearing sunscreen. Story 64. Snoring and teeth grinding. If you snore, get a sleep study. They are easy and you can likely do them at home. Story 65. Financial, relationship, and legal decisions in your 20s will have lifelong positive or negative repercussions. Story 66. Your skin, hair, and teeth will decline, and you won't even notice it until one day you look in the mirror and see how different they are. You also don't realize how much routine causes time to slip away. Story 67. Look at the health issues your parents have. Chances are you are predisposed to the same conditions. Take preventive steps now. Story 68. Trends and fashion are not important. Focus on what truly matters. Identify the signal and disregard the noise. Story 69. I have been surprised at how fast my gastrointestinal tract has deteriorated. I can no longer eat spicy or cheesy foods without significant consequences later. Most of my food decisions are now based on fiber intake or other nutritional values rather than just taste. Story 70. Your relationships are the key to your happiness. Treat others kindly, fairly, and generously. Honor your commitments. Do not fall into the trap of excusing your own bad behavior. Deep relationships will sustain you through various future troubles. Story 71. Not saving money, smoking, not wearing sunscreen, and spending time on relationships rather than on social media. Story 72. You know that strange pain you've been experiencing near larger joints? The discomfort that sometimes keeps you awake at night, but you overlook the next day? It's important to get that checked because it might be nothing, but it could also be arthritis. The earlier you can address it, the better off you'll be. Story 73. Don't compromise your health. Do not smoke, vape, or use drugs. Alcohol should ideally be avoided, but if you want to have an occasional drink, that's okay. It shouldn't be something you do all the time. Get regular exercise. You don't need to be at the gym every day, but aim for some moderate exercise daily. Story 74. Drinking heavily and using drugs may seem enjoyable when you are young, but if you become excessive and do not outgrow it, you risk ending up feeling unfulfilled and without healthy ways to experience happiness. Eventually, you will realize that you have wasted your life on temporary, false pleasure at the cost of genuine joy. Story 75. Save enough to retire. Make sure you understand that you cannot retire early if you only invest in a 401k, individual retirement account, or Roth individual retirement account, as these are essentially locked assets until your 60s. Remember to spend money on the big things you want. The older you get, the fewer opportunities you might have to enjoy them. Story 76. Our $36 trillion national debt is growing, and we are all in a difficult situation. Everything seems fine until one day it will no longer be. Story 77. Listening to music too loud will ruin not only your ears, but also your life. Not being able to hear is life-altering. You don't take your hearing seriously enough. Story 78. Undervaluing the strength of your joints and performing repetitive actions while pushing through the pain is not the solution. Stop that. Listen to your body, especially your knees. Story 79. Your back. Also, don't use credit cards. Have an emergency fund. Try not to drink alcohol. You only live once, so treat yourself to things you enjoy. Story 80. Take care of your skin. Use moisturizing lotion regularly. I have been doing this since my early 20s, and I often hear that I look 5 to 10 years younger than my actual age. Story 81. Not wearing sunscreen daily and not exercising or stretching regularly can lead to more injuries as you get older. Story 82. It seems like I hear many people nowadays saying to live with your parents as long as you can to save money. This is true, but you might miss out on the significant milestone of independence in your 20s. You have your entire life to save, but you are only young once. Try to have some fun. Start a band or be a DJ. Live with 5 roommates in an old house in a less desirable part of town. If you can't afford to do it in New York, where you can't have fun if you are constantly trying to make high rent, consider doing it in a city with a lower cost of living. Enjoy life, have fun, and embrace experiences responsibly. Don't be overly fearful of life all the time. Story 83: Hearing protection is essential. Every bit of hearing damage adds up and cannot be recovered. When riding motorcycles, I always wear earplugs. I also use them at concerts and when operating power tools. I even have a pair of ear protectors in the kitchen for when I use my blender every morning. Story 84: Perimenopause. How is it that nobody told us anything? Joint pain, weight gain, itchy skin, mental health issues, and teeth sensitivity. Holy moly. Story 85: Train like you're older so you can train when you're older. Many individuals push themselves too hard without stretching and then compete through injuries, resulting in lingering issues. If there is a 45-year-old in your gym or team, follow his approach now, and you'll be thriving by the time you reach his age. Story 86: Wear your personal protective equipment, especially hearing protection. A basic stretch and flex in the morning before starting work, or even just relaxing at home. Story 87: I'm not 40, but social media can be distracting. Step away from those platforms and live your life without unnecessary distractions and unrealistic expectations. Story 88: For women, perimenopause hits hard and fast. A fun fact: both the vagina, clitoris, and nipples can atrophy, leading to a loss of sensation. In the best-case scenarios, the sensations you experience will be much duller. The most common age for a woman to divorce is in her 40s, and this is one reason why. So, enjoy your sex life now because the odds are you will need gels, patches, and pills to achieve half the pleasure you currently feel, requiring 10 times more effort. And if you think, it won't happen to me, just know that yes, it will. Story 89: Exercise is not just beneficial for your physical health. It is also important for your mental well-being. Additionally, maximize your retirement accounts. I understand it may seem challenging, but it is worth doing. Story 90: Failure to implement a proper exercise and skincare routine, along with establishing healthy eating habits, will catch up with you in your 40s. Additionally, neglecting to wear hats outside and apply sunscreen can contribute to these issues. Story 91: Drugs, alcohol, and excessive carbohydrates can have serious consequences. If you engage in these behaviors without respect in your 20s, you will face significant challenges by the time you reach your 40s. Story 92: Compound interest works best the earlier you start. Compare person 1 investing $10,000 per year at an 8% return, then investing no additional money after the age of 30, to person 2 who begins the same investment strategy at age 30 but continues without stopping. By retirement, person 1 will be significantly wealthier, with less total committed capital. It's challenging to consider this in your 20s, as you feel like you need all your income and retirement seems far off, but it arrives faster than you think. Starting early makes a difference. Story 93: Drugs and alcohol have had a significant impact on my life. I have been sober for 8 years, and I have noticed a huge difference in my cognitive functioning. I wish I had never touched drugs or alcohol. Story 94: I never thought I would experience so much back and hip pain in my early 40s. Please make sure to stretch and find a good workout routine. You do not want to deal with the pain I have. Also, start a retirement savings account as soon as possible. Even if you are only able to contribute a small amount at first, starting in your early 20s can make a significant difference. Story 95: Your halcyon days may be happening now, in the past, or yet to come. Don't focus on that. Health, as others have said, will not magically improve. Finances will likely work out if you invest wisely and live within your means. The most significant factor is appreciating our existence on this planet, hurtling through an incomprehensible void. Every day we are here, and it is entirely possible that you could have never existed at all. Story 96: Not taking advantage of the freedom of youth before marriage, children, or careers makes it much easier to go on spontaneous trips. The older you get, the more schedules you have to coordinate and the more restrictions life places on you. Be spontaneous while you can. Story 97: Diabetes and hypertension are serious health concerns. Please check your health regularly and do not ignore any problems. Just because you feel fine does not mean there aren't any issues. Your body can compensate well for a long time, but eventually it may reach a breaking point. Many diseases are linked to diabetes and hypertension. Additional advice: do not consume large amounts of alcohol. Avoid inhaling harmful substances. Do not use illegal drugs. Maintain a high-fiber diet and practice safe sex, including regular testing for sexually transmitted infections. Do not depend on the emergency room for primary medical care, as it is not designed for that purpose. Incorporate plenty of fruits and vegetables, along with high-quality protein sources, into your diet. Choose healthy fats and engage in regular exercise. Find activities you enjoy rather than feeling pressured to run a marathon. Avoid obesity as it complicates other medical conditions and injuries. And for those who tend to overlook their injuries, do not ignore them or try to tough it out because of a busy schedule or stubbornness. If left unaddressed, injuries can become permanent, and it's essential to acknowledge that your body needs rest. Story 98. Teeth, knees, back, and ears. All things you can easily destroy bit by bit, not realizing it until it's too late. I will tell you what it feels like to lose those things, as most people won't. Teeth: imagine having a toothache. Except it's all of them, forever. You just learn to accept the pain and try not to think about it. Knees: have you ever hurt your knee? Remember how hard it was to put pressure on it afterward? The constant fear that it won't support your weight. It feels like it could break at any moment if you step the wrong way. You might not be able to get back up. Be kind to your knees. Back: imagine someone tasering you in your lower back. Now imagine that feeling every time you try to move. Ears: this is tricky. You don't have static channels anymore. Now imagine hearing static anytime any sound or voice goes above a certain volume. Turn down your music. Wear earplugs to concerts. Don't insert the cotton swab all the way. Life is about dealing with ever-increasing amounts of pain. The only saving grace is that you get to choose what that pain is. Story 99. The sun and skincare, or the lack thereof, play important roles. Eating healthy serves a purpose, helping your body function well as you age. The same applies to exercising. It's not just about weight. It's truly about being healthy and strong. Story 100. Drinking has negatively impacted more than half of the people I knew. You can face serious consequences in your 20s just as you can in your 40s. Story 101. Probably already said, but learn to live below your means. Start saving for retirement now. Learn how money works. So many young people don't save. You will wake up one day and be 40. It's a lot nicer to wake up at 40 knowing you can retire in 10 years versus 25. Story 102. Smoking and not getting an education are detrimental habits. In your 20s, there are opportunities for work that may not be available as you age. Story 103. A poor diet in your 20s can make it difficult to maintain a healthy weight in your 40s. Additionally, holding on to high school pettiness in your 20s will cause people to outgrow you quickly. Most will not return, and those who do are likely to leave again soon. Story 104. If you are attractive, you gradually become more invisible as you age. You may not notice all the subtle attention you received in your 20s and 30s, but you certainly notice when it stops in your 40s. Story 105. Young people, work out. I'm not saying you need to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger, but make fitness a part of your life. Your bones and overall health will thank you. Are you an introvert? You might be in for a lonely and possibly unsuccessful life. Step out of your shell. Your social circle may become smaller, and that's okay. Travel, even if it's by yourself. In fact, spend some of your money on it. If you enter a relationship, work on it and don't just quit. However, if it's not meant to be, move on as soon as possible. Seek professional help if you need to, but don't spend years fixating on that person. Don't treat your parents poorly. Enjoy your time with them while you can. Story 106. There isn't a safe amount of alcohol, and if you are drinking regularly, there is definitely not a safe amount. Just recognize that you are harming your body each time, and in some ways, this harm can be cumulative and potentially permanent. Story 107. Posture is important. My slouching and poor sitting posture have deformed my spine. I am relearning how to restore my spinal curves and strengthen the correct muscles to compensate. It is painful and requires constant effort. Sit up straight and maintain your fitness. Bad habits in your 20s can lead to pain and effort in your 40s. Story 108. Take education seriously. Learn skills for yourself, not for the expectations of others. I did enough to earn a degree back then, but that was just the goal. Now that I am 40, I feel like I don't know much and I am planning to go back to studying. Story 109. Heart disease is a serious concern. Taking care of your arteries is important, starting even in your teens. Consider reading Outlive by Peter Attia. Story 110. Sitting. More generally, having a sedentary office lifestyle and not getting enough exercise. Comparing my own experience with the complaints I hear from those aging around me, I suspect that feeling old and complaining about everything hurting is related to how much time you've spent neglecting yourself rather than your age. Compounding returns. More generally, financial planning and retirement planning. In this case, time is your ally, and the earlier you start, the better. It can lead to significantly better outcomes. I learned this in my 20s and retired in my 40s. I've tried to share this message, especially with younger people, while I was still working, but many don't understand or aren't interested. Story 111. Not going to the gym, neglecting dental health, and not traveling enough are concerns, but it's never too late to start. Story 112. Mind your alcohol intake. You cannot drink in your 40s like you did in your 20s, and if you do, you are in for a world of hurt. I recognize that some individuals are genetically predisposed to problematic consumption, while others are blessed with a moderation gene. However, if you even think it is problematic now, you have no idea. Story 113. How easy it is to get out of shape. Just walking a few miles a day will keep you in shape. Wear sunscreen and floss regularly. Story 114. You can take control of your life, but one person's mistake can completely change your life, and that may occur through no fault of your own. Story 115. I am in my 40s and exercise much more than I did in my 20s and 30s. Weight training and basketball are my main activities. Getting good quality sleep, eating well, and learning how to stretch and limit injuries can greatly extend your physical peak. Story 116. Invest. Even if it seems small now, the growth will provide you with peace of mind later in life. Story 117. Aside from the health topics mentioned, I am definitely investing, not just for retirement, but also in time for traveling and spending time with family. I am almost 40, and every year, I hear about a friend's parent passing away. It's tough. Story 118. Every little thing can have an impact. Mild injuries and habits that include risk factors, such as smoking and drinking, contribute to challenges like weight gain. These effects can intensify significantly after the age of 40. Story 119. Get a brokerage account. Open a money market fund with the brokerage account. Invest in treasury bills and open a Roth individual retirement account with that brokerage account. I wish I had done this in my 20s. I would be a millionaire today. I would be earning $5,000 a month in interest, burnable, livable, investable, and spendable. It's not that difficult, and you'll thank yourself when you're 40 or 50 years old. Seriously, it's not that hard. Make the right choice for yourself. Additionally, do one full deep squat every time you get up off the couch. That helps too. Story 120. If you climb the corporate ladder and play the game without paying attention, it can eventually backfire. Once you reach a level close to director, you will realize that not everyone is there just to collect a paycheck. There is a lot of scheming and corruption behind the scenes. Story 121. The person you marry will define the happiness of your next decade or more, especially if you choose to have children. Women should seriously consider having the children they want on their own rather than tying themselves to a burdensome partner for the rest of their lives. It is easier to know you are on your own from the beginning and to parent as you wish with the family you desire than to settle for the wrong person at the right time. Never settle. Story 122. Habits, whether good or bad, are the answer to nearly everything. Your academic success? Habits. Career? Habits. Health? Habits. Relationships. Habits. We often think in terms of single moments or decisions that determine our life or fate, and that can be true, but 90% of the time it is our habits, including habits of thought, that shape our outcomes. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.